Tan Sri Rais Yatim, orang yang termasyhur di Malaysia.
Tak adalah.
Tadi, but don't forget to subscribe and like the podcast. That will help in our algorithm. Okay? So Tan Sri, kita nak sembang sikit lagi ni.
Ya, saya.
Tapi I think I don't want to introduce you because semua orang dah tahu you. Menteri, speaker, ahli politik lama. But
Usang lah.
bukan. I think a lot of the younger viewers may want to know what's politics like in your early years compared to now, lebih kurang. When you started, what were you doing? Who do you serve? That kind of thing.
Ya. Pertama nak ucap terima kasih kepada Adinda Datuk Zaid jemput saya ke rumah dan juga ke tempat yang begini tersusun dalam urusan podcast kita. Tahniah dan terima kasih. Terima kasih kerana jemput pihak saya untuk menyampaikan atau mengilustrasi perkara-perkara yang sudah pun Adinda susun. Saya masuk siasat di zaman Tunku Abdul Rahman sebagai seorang pelajar di Singapura, dan Tunku lah yang memberi galakkan dengan Allahyarham Tun Sufian Hashim, iaitu CJ kita pada masa itu. Tun Sufian menggalakkan saya belajar di Universiti Singapura. Jadi oleh kerana Tunku Abdul Rahman pada masa itu memegang apa yang disebut sebagai beasiswa Bumi Putra Seberang Laut, maka saya berpeluang memohon pinjaman dari beasiswa itu. Lantas Tun Sufian mengaitkan saya dengan Profesor Tommy Koh di Singapura untuk belajar LLB di sana. Jadi dari tahun 1968 saya sudah ke Singapura, dan di situ saya lihat bagaimana Lee Kuan Yew mengendalikan apa yang saya anggap sebagai pasca Malaysia survival. Di situ mula terasa bahawa orang-orang yang nak berjaya dalam politik perlu mempunyai ilmu. Kebanyakannya ilmu undang-undang. Dengan itu saya terasa pentingnya bagi diri untuk mempelajari undang-undang secara serius, dan dengan bantuan Tun Sufian dan galakkannya saya dapat LLB dari Singapura. Apabila peristiwa 13 Mei saya balik ke Kuala Lumpur, saya dikurungi oleh orang Cina di Pudu. Dan saya terpaksa lari ke Fali Flat namanya di Kuala Lumpur. Tetapi nak balik ke Jelebu tak boleh, sebab keadaan pada masa itu dah meruncing. 13 Mei 1969. Jadi oleh kerana saya berkenal baik dengan Seti Sulit Tunku Abdul Rahman, maka beliau beri saya peluang untuk naik satu kereta khas ke landasan kereta api balik ke Seremban. Itu peristiwa pertama yang saya dapat nyatakan bagaimana seseorang yang begitu tinggi sebagai Perdana Menteri masa itu, walaupun dalam keadaan huru-hara, sempat berbudi dan menolong seorang kerdil pelajar yang pernah dikenalinya semasa dia pergi ke Jelebu pada tahun 1957. Dan di situ saya dapati pentingnya bagi saya untuk merasakan apa boleh kita sumbang pada masa itu sebagai seorang pelajar undang-undang yang baru. Di Negeri Sembilan masa itu ada 2 saja LLB holders. Pertama seorang hakim yang berasal dari Jelebu, yang seorang lagi saya. Dan apabila habis selesai tahun-tahun 70, Tunku pun beredar keluar. Tun Razak mulai menerima orang-orang muda. Dan Abdullah Ahmad Kok Lanas adalah sesepolitik Tun Razak pada masa itu. Dan Abdullah ni mempunyai satu cara untuk mencari apa yang disebut sebagai kader-kader Tunku, dan Tun Razak. Jadi saya termasuklah dalam orang muda di kalangan itu untuk masuk ke dalam UMNO, dan dengan kelulusan dari Singapura itu mencebur diri sebagai pemuda UMNO di Jelebu, dan seterusnya meningkat sebagai ketua bahagian pada tahun 69, 70.
Okay. So, how long were you in UMNO? Berapa lama UMNO?
Well, I started quite early after my teaching stint as a specialist language teacher in the United States for the American Peace Corps. I returned to KL 1966. So I started to become a member in my own kampung in Teriang and Gagu di Jelebu, in Jelebu. Therefore, since 1966 up to the year when we had the Team A and Team B in 1987.
87, yeah.
Yes. And then later on, after the resumption of association, when Semangat 46 was re-entering the ambit of UMNO again in 1996, I would say more than 3 decades.
Yeah. Okay, so now you are no longer in UMNO, you are in Bersatu, I believe, okay? Can you just give me a short take about what happened to UMNO now? The party that you spent about 30 years.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm still in UMNO, but they don't like me. Don't worry. You can say whatever you like.
Well, actually, I have no hindrance in saying things.
Yeah.
I think over the decades, we have lost our gleam. Basically, I'm an UMNO guy. The fact that I am a member of Bersatu doesn't alter my original sentiments about the Malayness and the Malaysianness of UMNO, and the concomitant commitments that we have under Article 3 and Article 6 of the Perlembagaan UMNO. What we wish to say now is there is a decay, in my view, of Malay politics in particular and Malaysian politics in general. I think the summation is quite fair if I were to interject by saying that once you become a prime minister, the guy forgets where he comes from. And he starts to create his own value system.
Yeah.
And the warlordship that we have in UMNO is still there. And it does not help the nurture of the party for the kind of rule of law that you and I share, or for the kind of democratic system that we want to continue with. And to see that Malaysia does not have that kind of embryo anymore, it saddens me. And today I think the Malays in particular, through UMNO, they have lost their gleam. And I think they have lost their idea what to do with the power that we want to have, or what to do with the power that we have. So with UMNO's future in mind, I just believe that the leadership should be changed. But the cross-flow of people within UMNO now, they are not of the thinking breed or of the action-orientated breed. Hence, UMNO is now duduk di tangga kambing, so to use the term in my kampung.
It looks like that they are more aligned to Anwar Ibrahim than to the original UMNO spirit, don't you think?
I think so, and I believe with the scenario where DAP has 40 seats up there, PKR with 31, less a few seats, and UMNO with 26 seats, they are just followers. And that cannot be if you take UMNO's constitution, you see. Therefore, one question for me is, to what extent does the president now take the Perlembagaan UMNO as its guiding document, or does he have his own system of constitutional bearing? That is the biggest issue. And secondly, being an old guard in the system, I feel the the mass in UMNO, they are not thinking and they are not doing anything. They are just a bunch of followers, except for one or two, which I need not mention names. Coming back to the scenario, the DAP, I think it has tasted power. And they want to remain there.
Yes.
But UMNO does not realize that they are now subservient to DAP because of the democratic process.
Yeah.
Now, how come Anwar Ibrahim becomes Perdana Menteri when he only got 31 seats?
Yes.
So this should have been fought by UMNO itself, you know. But what to say, even the president only got 348 in the last general election in terms of votes.
Yeah.
So that dilemma, I believe, has sunk in, and it has created a lacuna in the thinking process of UMNO. I believe the Pemuda should spring up like what we used to do before. And it's doing something now, but a bit more, I think, should have created the kind of norm.
Do you see aside from UMNO, the other Malay groups, PAS, and of course Bersatu.
Yes.
Now, there is, on paper, they look strong. I think the Malays, I think it's fair for me to say, I think the Malays are more inclined to support PAS and Bersatu as we speak.
Yes, we speak.
Yeah, whether it's enough to form a government, I don't know. Tapi, banyak orang complain. Dia orang kata they are not clear about the leadership. They're not clear who's the Prime Minister. They're not clear about their common policy. They're not clear about so many things, which you need to form a government, or at least to convince the rakyat. How do you solve this? Since you are in Bersatu, and you are an influential man?
Well, there are times, as we say, that seasons bear the fruit.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in that season to bear the fruit rightly, but of course I could pour in some nurturing water to the tree. Now, maybe we should start by saying the Malay body politic has been segmented by the desire to become prime ministers. To begin with, the Bersatu, the PAS, UMNO, Amanah, etc., they do not forge ahead in nation building as such, but they forge ahead with the glimmer of leadership. Now, perhaps that is not wrong, but what is questionable in my view is the lack of cohesion and unity in the common cause of the Bangsa Melayu, the Bahasa Melayu, and those that are connected with the basic needs of a struggle in the peninsula as well as in Sarawak and Sabah. Now, having that scenario, we have DAP, which has gone forward by taking in a few able Malay leaders quietly over the years. This is not the Lik Kim Siang kind of formula, but I think this is the formula of the underlings. Now, with that, we want to say now, if Anwar were to be questioned, why should you not go? Of course, you will say, what's on the other side? I don't see any. It's not fair to say abruptly that we don't have. I wish to say we do have. But the testing field has not been given adequately. Therefore, within PAS, there are a few young Turks who could come up. Within Bersatu too, we have got a few young Turks, able people who could come. The problem, I believe, is the nurturing process by the leaders are not adequate to create the new leaders coming up. But we can see them. At the same time, I believe we have not questioned the issue of whether the coming and the becoming of the Prime Minister in April 2022, that is Anwar, it should be questioned. How come a man who represents only 31 seats could be chosen by the power that be to become Prime Minister? Now, this is a deep question. Why not PAS, for example, who got 43? DAP only got 40. So the power that be, some wish to say the Payung Kuning, should have asked PAS. You got 43. Now I want to ask you, why can't you become Prime Minister? Why was Anwar asked to become Prime Minister? This is a deep question for me. Being an old practitioner, I would like to say that something was not right. And this must be registered.
Yeah. Okay. Lately, another interesting point has been raised about Anwar's qualification
Yes.
as Prime Minister. A lawyer by the name of Wetamurti has filed a challenge on the ground simply that he was pardoned, as you know, under Article 42, which is the prerogative of mercy of the king.
Yes.
Okay? But Weta is maintaining that the king, in his tita, did not say that Anwar is relieved of the disqualification under Article 48, which is a 5-year upon conviction of certain criminal offence.
Yes.
You cannot. And in response to that question, the Attorney General replied, okay, Anwar is free, had a free pardon.
Free pardon.
By that, he understood that to mean Anwar has no wrongdoing attached to his pardon. Yeah? There's no wrongdoing. My view is that the AG has gone a bit too far, because I think a pardon is just a pardon on the sentence. It does not go on the issue of whether he did commit the offence or not. Okay, that aside, why is this issue of pardon so not clear-cut in this country? I'm sure we had pardons before, Mokhtar Hashim's case, Harun Hashim's case. We had so many, Harun Idris. Sorry.
Harun Idris.
Yes. We had so many cases of pardons before. Politicians as well as the normal people.
Yeah.
And the pardon has already been, normally it's exercised under the same provision, 42, 48, that sort of thing. Tapi kita sini, seolah-olah, Najib's case is also a pardon.
Yes.
Although it's half pardon, they call it. And yet, it's still being challenged by the government. Now, I feel that the royalty, with due respect, since you mentioned the word Payung Kuning.
Payung Kuning.
Yeah, I think the royalty bears responsibility, in my view, to clarify all this thing, because we don't like to question the king.
Yes.
But because we are a system of law, we must be clear. Now, that said, some people have suggested that the monarchy should have an independent legal advice. Now, under the law, the AG advised the king.
Yeah.
But the AG also advised the Prime Minister. And obviously there are times where there's a conflict.
Yes.
So what was your thought on this issue?
I would like to say this much, and in one segment perhaps it is abrasive, on the other it is plain and general. Going by the operation of Article 42, there is no sanction for the king to do one or the other. But we do know that if the session of pardon is to be carried out, it must be in formality form. It cannot be outside of the formality form.
Yes.
Meaning, the PM has to be there, the AG has to be there, the king is there, and the other officers who take down the minutes. Now, whatever has been said or dititah oleh Tuanku at that time must be minutely and accurately transferred into writing.
Yes.
Right. So, when that writing is in the form of the minute, that's it. It has to be carried out.
Yes.
Now, that's very clear. Not out of case law, but out of convention.
Yeah.
We have seen this. I've seen this from the time of Dato Mokhtar Hashim, the late Dato Mokhtar. I've seen this in Dato Idris's case and a few others. Now, what if the king, on second thought, write another piece in the form of tita and issued it to the public or to the AG or to the Prime Minister by saying, this is a tita in the form of pardon addendum. In my view, that is not valid because it was not in due process of the conventional meeting of the Pardons Board. This has to be taken into consideration, but there could be a situation where that addendum will not be considered by the court. The court may simply say, since this is part and parcel of the process, the court may want to say that we can accept that as part of the pardon material, which of course I personally would oppose. It is not part of it. Now, that shows part of Dato's concern just now, where the thing is messy still. So the messiness of it is because the AG is not competent enough to handle all the various developments from the normal and formal edition of the Jatan Kuasa Pengampunan. Coming back to the recent scenario, the addendum now is just recently being decided that matters should go back to the High Court, and it could be part and parcel of the proceedings to be on merit. What this means is there is a chance the addendum will be accepted. Now, if that becomes it, then it is more messy. Our belief on the Jatan Kuasa Pengampunan would be shattered because the payung kuning could always add on something else later. This is dangerous for the rule of law system. But coming back to the ambit where you said that it is so messy, what shall we do now? I agree with you that the sultans, our tuanku, should deliberate this matter at the Majlis Raja Raja and conclude a format that should be accepted. Short of saying they should now have a semi-constitutional bearing, we cannot survive well later on. Now, having said that, the only element that is left to be analyzed is how long can we go with this kind of system? Now, you and I, we are two lawyers. We are saying, will rule of law prevail? Then you will ask, what do you mean by rule of law? Does it mean the justification for a consensus that there should be checks and balance, or it is actually a government that will rule by law?
By law.
Now, this is dangerous. I'm sure Dato Sri Anwar as the PM is not very comfortable with this now, because the outcome can emerge as a wild tune, or it could emerge as a symphony in the London Orchestra.
Okay. Now, the other thing that I would like to get your views is that the nature of Malay politics now. It used to be quite clear. I remember when I was young, and it was more of economic issues, the rights of the Bumiputras, the issue of equity, the issue of where are we going in terms of sharing of wealth. Now, I think the topic has become murky. I don't know where is the priority now. I don't know. It looks to me like it is more of the elites have got a way of getting away with a lot of things, contracts or projects decided in a way that really you can't see the benefit to the ordinary people. It may be $1 billion data center, for example, but of what use is that for most of us? Now, the other thing that I want to ask you is it because the emphasis by Malay political class including PAS. PAS is very religious. There's a lot of religious issues involved. Does it mean that it has sacrificed the equally important agenda for the people of this country? And that is important. Has UMNO, in its so-called nationalistic mode, or what I call sometimes manufactured anger, have they really looked at the Rakyat's problem? I find it ridiculous that, we don't even have enough local rice. I mean, we cannot even plant. We don't have enough. I remember, those days after Japanese, we planted a lot of rice in Kedah, Kelantan, and a lot of Kelantanese went to Kedah to plant. But I don't see that not happening.
I think
and that is where I want to ask you, where are the priorities now?
True. Your concern is actually pivotally in agreement with what I feel. Let's say now, the budget for 2024 is 394 billion. 303 billion are for administration. Under administration, the Prime Minister or the ministers concerned could just plug and give to various needs. What remains from 394, you minus 303, it's just peanuts left. That is called pembangunan. Kalau sebanyak itu pembangunan, patutnya rakyat sekarang ambil rebana semua, pukul kuat-kuat, kata tak bersetuju. But actually our people don't bother about budget. After the 2 days after which the Prime Minister announces the budget, they go about their normal life in the kampong. But what is missing, Adinda, is this. We do not have a comprehensive agricultural policy to sustain the economy of the country. Now, we are importing about, 90 billion worth of makanan or food from outside. Why must you import all these buah, all these fruits, all this rice when we can plant? Now, there is no policy on Kedah production, on Perlis, on Upper Perak. What we have in Sekinchan, the Chinese are doing very well. But next door, orang Melayu tak keluar hasil. So, Mardi should come forward and get the money for development. We don't have that. So, in my view, without the augmentation of budgetary consideration for the rural folks, we are done for. Now, I don't blame Tun Razak for his Dasar Ekonomi Baru, because after May 13, the Malays were thirsty for opportunities. Now that we have had DAB, with all the criticisms and all, I still say at least those politicians before they knew where the money should go and who should be built. Of course, we made some mistake. We created giants out of the dwarfs in the economic field. But who doesn't make mistake? But now we must recreate this thing. And in hindsight, I don't see Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim having that kind of sefer or formula. Therefore, UMNO in particular, Bersatu, PAS, should have what I call the Tiga Sekawan approach in politics. If you want to get back your power, these three must not be separated. Let's put it this way. In Singapore, whatever you say, the Chinese are in power. They will blow the whistle. They will do what they want. Over here, orang Melayu lah. We have our own formula, but we don't have now. This is dangerous.
We don't have, sorry to interject, we don't have, it looks to me like, because UMNO don't want.
Well,
so what do UMNO members must do?
We must put it this way too. In terms of parliamentary seats, PAS has got more seats. UMNO got only 26 for today, and Bersatu about 25. Why don't you have that audacity to talk about it? Conglomeratize in Parliament, get back your power, and throw that spanner away. That is not done. So that's why I'm saying we are working in silos. Melayu ini dengan cara lopak dia. Melayu ini dengan dia punya ruang dia. Melayu ini dengan dia punya gunung dia. Ini saya katakan semut dari kaki naik ke punggung. Ya, di kampung buah kelaka. Apa lagi nak ditanggung? Nak diadakan sudah tiada.
I wish I can talk like you.
No, it's just old songs.
Okay, I want to come to the last part. People say that the future belongs to the young.
Yeah.
People like us cakap-cakap boleh lah. Tenaga sudah tidak ada, But my observation is that the young's interest, unlike in our time, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. In our time, when we were young, we always think of somehow about the community, about the people, about Melayu, about... I don't know, maybe I'm being wrong, but I don't know whether there is that concern now amongst the young.
Yeah.
About community values, about nation. It's more about TikTok, about themselves.
Yeah.
But how do we solve this?
I think you have knocked on the right pivot heads. We are now being supervised by outside value system, not by our own.
Yeah.
Our educational system has failed to produce the Malaysians that we need. And therefore, having said that, the Budi Bahasa within the Malay community is also gone. We don't have any more Budi left. Now, under Budi, what it means is the merit of personality should be prolongated to build a family, the kampung. We don't have that anymore. Now, having said that, you look at the syllabus in schools, in universities, you don't have the Malayness, you don't have the Islamic that you need, all kind of value system to build the nation. You go to Korea and Japan, you can see that the young tots arrange their shoes nicely outside the scholar, outside the classroom. And they say height. And they all have clean toilets. These, in my view, are Islamic tenets, but it's not Islamic in Malaysia.
Yeah.
We don't teach this. Not that we want to imbue all these, but at least I believe for the community survival, there should be the bolts and the nuts coming in again. Now, the politicians of the day don't have that anymore. You see what they talk in parliament? The kind of sign language they do, and what the Minister of Education said in order to propel Datuk Sri Anwar, he says, Selamat Hari Jadi PMX and all that. Must you have that?
We are following North Korea.
Well, the good luck symbol is not there in my view, and therefore the Malays in PAS, the Malays in Bersatu, the Malays in UMNO
must get together.
Yeah. Otherwise we forget it. And our friends, the progenitors of Linkip Siang will be there.
Yeah.
A few guys like the Bangi MP and all will be supporting. The Arara in Pahang will be coming in. But that's about it.
Yeah.
The Malays will be on the periphery after this if we are not careful. So we tell them in clear terms, let's get together. Marilah kita bersatu dan cari jalan.
Thank you, Nasir. It's been a very useful and reminder, good message, and I hope we can continue this conversation.
Yeah, even without the microphones, I think we have more teet-a-teet with the coffee and the tea at other sessions. But I must say, sebesar-besar terima kasih sebab bawa kami kemari. Jadi saya selalu sebut beginilah, daun selasih dari Kuantan melukut di tepi gantang. Terima kasih saya ucapkan, kena jemput saya datang.
Yes.